Good day, everybody. Meteorologist Mark Muller here. Let's take a look at the tropics and your severe weather, drought outlook, heat index problems. We have basically what's left of Hurricane Darby. We'll see just how close it comes to the big island of Hawaii. And we have Invest 96E into the Eastern Pacific. We'll take a look, see how close that'll come to the Mexican coast, what effects you'll see along the Mexican coast. Is there anything really going to happen in the Atlantic over the next week or two? We'll take a look at that. And all your severe weather coverage. Let's get into it. All right, so the Eastern Pacific, that's where the action is. Hurricane Darby likely to pass just south of the big island of Hawaii here as a tropical storm weakening. And then Invest 96E. Likely to become close to the Mexican coast. We'll see what the effects are going into the weekend and next week. All right, Darby's still a hurricane here, still pretty much holding on. You can see still a pretty circulation here. The thing that's got it going here is the fact that it's a small circulation, so it's able to keep those central disks overcast here. But you can see it's lost the eye, so it will be weakening to a Category 1, then a tropical storm here eventually as the wind shear and cooler waters take over. And good old Invest 96E, take a look at this. Yeah, it's becoming a bit better organized here, especially on the eastern side. It's a very large circulation, so it will be slow strengthening here, but we'll see a storm out of this. All right, so taking a look at the tropical Atlantic here, there is an interesting big old tropical wave out here. We have a little feature down here towards the Lesser Antilles. There's a low-level circulation here near Puerto Rico. It's a low-level, low-pressure system, but not any development. Upper-level low here in the Bahamas, no development, and just disorganized storms in the Gulf of Mexico. The big stories in the Eastern Pacific here. All right, so good old fun times in the Atlantic here. Good old area of high pressure. It's pretty boring here in the Atlantic. I'm not going to lie. You know what? Sometimes that'll definitely eventually lead to some not so boring times come later August and September, because this will allow the water temperatures to really warm up nice. There's our next named storm over there in the Pacific, the Eastern Pacific, going like gangbusters here. But look at this. Around this periphery of high pressure system, you have the intertropical convergence zone. You got some of this features off the southeast coast here that's feeding some tropical moisture in. But the Gulf, by this point, Sunday, is clearing out Sunday morning. So, we continue in time here. We'll have to watch these frontal boundaries along the East Coast. They could spin up something, this early in the season. But there's a bigger wave coming off the Cape Verde Islands for your Tuesday, July 19th here. And look at this. We put this in time. We will definitely be watching this out here in the Atlantic for some of these features, because some of them could blossom into something. And look at this in the Eastern Pacific. There's feature number 1, feature number 2. We could be looking at multiple named storms by this time Wednesday, July 27th, towards the end of the month. So, what exactly is the Euro showing here in the Atlantic? Well, let's run through it. Let's see if it shows. There's that system in the Eastern Pacific. Well, let's get that out of the way. There we go. So, there we go. All right, so the intertropical convergence zone, yep, pretty far to the south, as is typical this time of year. So as we put this in time, there's that system there into the Eastern Pacific. This is July 16th, Saturday. And as we go throughout time here, as far as the Euro will take us, yeah, that's an interesting little feature. Well, I wouldn't call it little. It's a broad area of circulation, a low-pressure system. So this is by Friday, July 22nd. So Euro's kind of hinting at something out here in the Atlantic. We'll have to see if that materializes. And there's something down here into the Caribbean. So the Euro looks a little bit more interesting than the GFS. All right, so let's take a look at the tropics from this angle. Take a look at this. So this is the area of Invest 96E here. So, anywhere in this area, we're expecting development in the next day or so. You can see the Mexican coastline here. The areas that I think could potentially maybe have some outer feeder bands and some wave action, anywhere from Acapulco all the way up to Puerto Vallarta here. So this part of the coastline, definitely want to keep an eye out here. I do think most of this will stay offshore. The worst of it will stay south and west of this line. But, until the system actually develops and the models can initialize this properly, we're not out of the woods yet. And then definitely, as we draw the line up here to Puerto Vallarta, all the way up to Cabo San Lucas, La Paz, these areas, you definitely want to keep an eye out, because, if this system just comes a little bit closer, you will definitely get into some problems here. So we'll watch it here All right, so taking a look at Hurricane Darby, its entire life cycle here. Take a look at this. Yep, this is Category 2 storm as of Thursday night, but it's going to continue to weaken as it gets into some more wind shear and some cooler waters. Likely heading right in this general direction. There's the big island of Hawaii, so you're likely going to get some wave action, some swells, and maybe especially on the southeast part of the island, especially along the southeast, where you have the upsloping flow into the mountainous terrain, you're going to get some showers and thunderstorm action. So, yeah, it's a Category 2 now, likely to pass as a tropical storm later Saturday into Sunday, and then a tropical depression by the time it gets in this area early next week. All right, so let's take a look at the Eastern Pacific here. Look at this. Here's the Euro. We'll start off with the Euro. There's our next name system, likely, here we go, Friday, July 15th, right in the middle of the day. So look at this monsoon. On the east side of this system, by this point, it's probably going to be a tropical storm. Look at this, from Acapulco all the way up to Puerto Vallarta and even northward here. There is a big slug of monsoon moisture on the eastern end of this system. And look how it pummels up along. It's Sunday. This is Sunday morning. Coming a pretty bona fide system here just southwestward of Puerto Vallarta. This is why I said we got to watch this system, because the Euro is slowly taking it closer to the coastline here. So at this point, definitely want to keep an eye on this. Let's keep this going in time here. The Euro kind of saves Cabo San Lucas here, the southern tip of Baja California, and pushes the storm, does a more left turn out this direction. So we'll have to watch that for trends. Until the storm actually initializes, we're not going to get the greatest handle on it, but we can get a trend here. And that seems to be like the trend we're baselining here. So if we actually go towards, let's take a look at the GFS here. So let's go back in time here. GFS, here we are. Saturday, let's go back to Friday. There we go. So Saturday, GFS is wow, look at all that moisture. So there it is. It's very similar to the Euro. All that slug of moisture on the east end of this system. And as we continue to go, wow, this is crazy. Sunday morning. Look at this. This is a pretty big system. By this point, it's between Acapulco and Puerto Vallarta. Lots of wave action. Showers and thunderstorm, monsoon action on the east side of the system. The GFS, I'm not going to lie, is actually a bit further offshore now than the Euro was. So they're kind of trading places, so to speak. But look how this moisture, this is crazy, this moisture feed right into western Mexico. This is Tuesday. Well, this is late Monday, heading into early Tuesday. And look at that. Safely exits towards the west, so saving Baja California. Now look at this. This is something the Euro did not do. There is another potential system here sitting just south of Puerto Vallarta. This is Thursday, July 21st. This could be a potentially named system. We'll have to keep an eye on this. This kind of just flares up behind, this potential hurricane coming up. So definitely want to keep an eye on this. And as we go in time here, look at this. This just remains active and robust. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, and maybe 4 could head into we're just going to start lining them up here, people. We're probably going to get all the way through the Eastern Pacific alphabet here. And look at this. Wow. This is just craziness. Look at this. This is by Wednesday, July 27th. 1, 2, 3. And then we have a wave back here. So yeah, it's crazy time here in the Eastern Pacific. All right, so taking a look at the intensity scale as it's paralleling the Mexican coast later this weekend into early next week. You can see here, look at this. It's going to be borderline strong tropical storm, potentially Category 1 hurricane here. So at this point, we're going to be watching this system rapidly intensify, potentially, I think, the upper envelope here, Category 2 at least, maybe touching Category 3. Not completely out of the question. These storms have been outperforming in the Eastern Pacific. As it's approaching the Baja California by this 96-hour point here, 108-hour, definitely going to want to keep an eye on this. Okay, so severe weather across the country is not going to be that big of a factor, although for your Friday here, we're going to be looking across the northern plains into Montana and here around the Chicago area towards Wisconsin, southeastern part of Minnesota, and down and through parts of eastern Iowa and northeastern Missouri. So, for your Saturday heading on into the weekend, that translates into the northern plains here. All right, so let's take a look at the satellite photo briefly here. You can see much of the country and through here is really clear. That's going to be the trend. Trending drier and hotter. You see these thunderstorm boundaries here across the southeast. Look at these. This is pretty interesting. We don't have anything, as I said, to talk about here in the Gulf of Mexico, though. I mean, these are disorganized showers and thunderstorms. You do have to watch some of these because, they can get a little frisky this time of year. But you know what? We have this feature here off the southeast coast. But, there is so much wind shear. You can actually see the wind shear here. This is what gives some of these stronger, storms, the updrafts, and whatever they need to continue to live. And that's just going to shear any tropical activity. All right, so what do we got going on the next couple days into the weekend, later on into the weekend? Well, let's take a look here. So let's stop this, and we'll start from the very beginning here. So we get into early Friday morning. This is TGIF. So yeah, essentially what you got going on here. Look at this big old mess up here. This is a big mess of showers and thunderstorm activity. Most of it will be a heavy rain threat here across parts of Minnesota, but we could get into some stronger cells, damaging wind, large hail potential as well. It's not going to be a major outbreak. And, you're continuing with this, problem here in the southeast. It's actually not much of a problem because you actually need the rain. So, as we continue in time here, we head throughout the early morning hours, 4 a.m., Friday morning, 5 a.m., the two area, this area across the upper Midwest, you'll have to watch this throughout Friday. But look at the Northeast. Just a picture perfect day. And out here into the Central Plains, you're really going to start to bake as we get closer to the weekend here. So let's get out of this mode and let's see if we can continue here. There we go. So, alrighty. So continuing on here, we get towards look at this. This is 9 a.m., 10 a.m. So you're probably at work. There's probably no school at this point because we're still in the middle of the summer. But you know what? This is not going to be much of a threat severe weather-wise. It does look like a mesoscale convective system. So we are going to have some minor cells that do flare up. So severe weather is a potential mainly on the western edge of this. Some of these smaller cells could get spinning here. Let's zoom in on Chicagoland area. So there it is. Southeast. Some of these could get frisky too, but this is mainly gully washers here. So, this is 6 p.m. Friday evening. So let's head on into the weekend. That's really what really matters, doesn't it? You worked all week. It's time to relax and have some fun. And what do we got going on? So if you're heading out, if you're out on the town at 2 a.m. on Saturday night, yeah, things are getting a little frisky up here in southern Michigan, northern Indiana, and parts of northern Ohio. But you know what? It's nothing to write home about. And look at this over here. Got some interesting features going on over here into the western plains. Some beneficial rains for you. But, as we head throughout the forecast period here, you really can't complain too much. We get into Saturday morning here. We do have actually some showers. Not so much on board with this getting into the southern tier of New York. I really don't think we'll see much, if any, of that. It's been so dry as of late. And the positive reinforcement cycle that I've always used to talk about with drought. Showers and thunderstorms head into an area that's dry. It's just a recipe for disaster. It ends up being, killing any shower and thunderstorm activity. Because, it's just, the NAM is notorious for this, and we're getting some feedback up here, especially into north central Pennsylvania on Saturday 3 p.m. So as we continue on in time here, let's go. So yeah, we get some explosive development here along southern Ohio. This is definitely boundary issue, but as we head towards later Sunday, let's take a look. So let's put this into motion. 9 p.m., 10 p.m. Saturday night. So yeah, west of this line, I could see you getting, this chance of shower and thunderstorm activity. But if you're actually from Interstate 81, eastward and northeastward in the northeast, you're not going to see any rain. So you're going to have a picture-perfect weekend here. So, as we head in time here, let's take a look. So you head towards Sunday morning, and this is what you're getting into here. You got some complexes of showers and thunderstorm activity, and these will continue to pivot south and east like this. Here we go. Joe Drehos from New York City. Look at this, Manhattan area. Take a look at these photos. This is back on July 6th. Beautiful, beautiful scene here across the area. Take a look at that, and look at that Central Park beauty. Yeah, a lot of you probably don't think New York City can look like that. Look at that. That's right in the Central Park. Look at how beautiful that is. It's a beautiful park. And look at there. Good old Times Square. Look how beautiful that is. Nice day to be had. Everybody getting out there and enjoying. Look at this. A lot of you think it's just a concrete jungle, but no, it's more than that. It's nice. And against that nice blue sky, look at those buildings. And there is Times Square at night. Look at all those lights. Nice captures there, Joe. Making a lot of us jealous. All right, so taking a look at the drought, this has been a long-term decade-plus drought here out west and in the southwest and south central plains. It's just spreading east here. You can see parts of the southeast getting drier than average as well. And we're dealing, let's zoom into my neck of the woods up here with some of my immediate forecast area. This is getting around the Boston, Worcester area. We're now into a severe drought here. See that? And you're literally in a moderate drought. This is just expanding. If you've been watching my videos the last month or two here, this orange area has been expanding west and southwestward. And now we're also around the Buffalo area. We are in a moderate drought. And see this yellow area around the Binghamton, Wilkes-Barre area? Yep, you are now abnormally dry. So we've entered the first phase of drought, and many of you are approaching this D2 severe drought. All right, so what's going on with the heat here? Craziness. Look at this. The only area of somewhat relief here is into the northeast, where you're going to be into the low to mid 80s for your Friday. But look at this. Look what's bubbling up here. This is an area of extremely dangerous heat from northern Texas up into Kansas and Nebraska, all the way up 99 degrees here in northeastern Montana. This is craziness. So let's kick this into motion for your Saturday. Look at this. We start to spread the heat eastward here. So yeah, the northeast is going to start to increase the heat humidity here and help increase your drought as well. Look at this. This is just in craziness that most of these areas are well above 90 degrees. And we kick it into Sunday. What's going on here? Well, we got a little bit of a, some kind of system that moves through, ushers in a little bit cooler air, which is good news. But look what that does. It's like you push the cooler air down here in the Appalachians and you push the heat up north here. Look at hundreds all the way up to the Canadian border here. This is craziness. And then we head on into your Monday, and look at this. We start to get the northeast into this too. Look at, we're pushing 90 in many parts of the northeast here. And look at this dangerous heat. This is not heat indexes. 107 around Oklahoma City, Wichita 106. This is craziness. Look at that. And we head into your Tuesday. Look at this. We're into the 90s here into the northeast. The only areas that are kind of a little around the edges here, a little comfort. This is ridiculous heat here. Look at this. I feel really bad for this area because it's just going to continue to bake. This is really, really bad news. And, in the northeast, thankfully, we get these little shots of somewhat cooler air. Extended outlook, upper Susquehanna River Valley, Binghamton to Scranton, Friday through Tuesday. Look at this. Sunny, and then sunny Sunday, too. A chance of a shower or thunderstorm after 3 p.m. on Sunday. It's not going to be an all-day event, but you'll eke out the first couple days, Friday and Saturday, really nice. We will be on the heat and humidity on the rise come Saturday, and especially into Sunday. Monday, we get that system moving through. Some of these could maybe potentially be severe. It's not going to be a big-time thing, though. So it might bring some beneficial rain, but I'm only expecting around a 1/4 inch on average. locally higher amounts possible. But look at this. Behind, it's like a warm front. Tuesday, sunny and 90. As always, I want to thank you for joining me for this edition of Weather Eastern. If you still haven't watched my Hurricane 2022 Outlook, link is in the description down below. Also, Facebook, Meteomark, Weather Northeastern, also Hurricane Northeastern, and Susquehanna Weather. So any one of those four, go ahead and like them all if you like. Follow them. Twitter at Weather Eastern. Also Meteomark.com, WeatherNortheastern.com. Don't forget to question or comment down below. Let's get the conversation going on the weather.